nerds? It's been a couple days since I got this car finished. Now, before anybody comes at me for calling him a nerd, I truly mean that in the nicest way possible. I mean, if you're a grown adult playing with a little toy car, you're a nerd. Let's face it. If you're a kid playing with a toy car, you're still a nerd. You're just not as nerdy as those kids that play video games and sit inside all day long, but you're still up there. I had the opportunity to race this yesterday, and I want to say, first of all, well, should we talk about the elephant in the room? No, let's wait. So, anyways, I want to say that this thing is freaking awesome. Uh, Handles great, turns great, like it turns like it's on rails. I raced it in the open short course class, which I would say this is kind of a cheater car, but my driving skills weren't up to par. So I think I ended up getting like fourth out of five or something. But I do have a little bit of an excuse. I do have multiple sclerosis, so my hands are basically half numb. Sometimes I'll be driving the car and I don't even realize if my hand's still on the wheel. Anyways, I'm not the best driver, but in the laps I was able to do quick, I could keep up with and catch guys in the corner and take them in the corner, especially in the corner, especially I could take people. I do want to say that let's see, so when I first tested it on my little track, there was a couple issues that I had. Number one was straight out of the box, the suspension preload was a little bit too low. It was set up too low, which is not a big deal at all. I think a lot of my stuff that I put in here is heavier than they intended. But anyways, it was set up a little bit low. So I adjusted the preload. And then another thing I had an issue with was this Traxxas ESC would not say stuck down on here. So I ended up using hot glue. But the only hot glue gun I had, or the hot glue sticks I had, was for paintless dent repair. And it must be a different solution. So that kept coming up. So when I practiced yesterday, the hot glue that I had made, so I put a bunch of hot glue and like built it up. Well, the hot glue that I had made, it came undone. So I put double-sided tape underneath the hot glue because the hot glue is sticking to the ESC. I put double-sided tape underneath the hot glue, and that held it. So it's a little bit crooked. You can't get that in there perfectly, but it held up, and now it's good to go. But yeah, I didn't feel like I was outclassed in the motor department. Definitely not outclassed in the handling department. This thing is kind of a cheater compared to short course trucks. This broke on my second heat, like in the almost the beginning of the second heat. So then for the main event, I ran my Traxxas / 4x4 that I kind of had I had set it up as a rookie class racer for my kid, and then it's kind of a backup racer. And 2 weeks ago when I went racing, I let this kid that kind of hangs out there all the time, I let him race it. But yesterday I was thinking, okay, I need to have that as a backup in case this one breaks. So I didn't offer him to race that yesterday. But anyway, so I raced that. That thing just, compared to this handling wise, was awful. Traction rolled very often, at almost this one corner, almost every single time traction roll. This thing will not traction roll. I really have no complaints. There's just a couple adjustments I need to do. Right now it's out of the box, pretty much bone stock. The rear hops a lot. So I don't know why, if it needs thicker. I think it might need some thicker shock oil. because it seems like, or it actually seems like it, maybe the ride height runs too low and then it's too far down in the travel and slaps the chassis and knocks it up. So I haven't figured out which one it is yet. And then of course, I asked the guy running the race, the hobby shop owner, to look at it and let me know what he thought. And then it broke right after that. So I didn't get a good answer, but I believe that it's running too low in the suspension travel, and then it's slapping. But yeah, I'm having an issue with it flying nose down over jumps, and then kind of seems like it's kicking the back end up. So I'm gonna adjust that. I'll figure that. But honestly, there's nothing else to complain about. Everything's great. Handles great. Turns sharp enough. The high speed turns, it freaking sticks like glue. Yeah, it's kind of a cheater. It's kind of a cheater car, really, for that class, I think. I'm hoping that I could get more people that want one of these, and then we got a class. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna do some suspension tuning. That's all it really needs, I think. Everything is pretty much out of the box. All it really needs is suspension tuning to get the rear from kicking out. I got to fix it first, obviously. So, let's talk about what broke. So, I mean, I guess it's a brake. So the hinge pin is completely gone. It left the building. It left the earth. I don't know where it's at. But the hinge pin is totally gone. And then whatever this little block, that thing's gone. And that's about it. So why do I think that happened? Honestly, I think these arms are probably so stiff that that's the weak link, and it ripped out. And I will admit, I wasn't driving this thing the most delicate. It was my first time on the track, really, with a 4x4, and I realized you can kind of, let's say you accidentally cut a turn, you can hop the PVC pipes. So I was kind of slamming into some PVC pipes, and I think that's what busted this. I ordered the parts to fix it on eBay. It's like the front hinge pins, all the little spacers, rear hinge pins, and the aluminum blocks. Pretty much everything. It comes with everything for the front end for like $20 shipped. So that's not too bad. And hopefully that'll come this week, and then, or actually next week. What day is it? I don't even know what day. This week. Hopefully it shows up this week, and I could fix this sucker and get it back on the track next weekend. Because it was really fun, and I was missing this car versus driving that Slash. Like, now I'm gonna have to go set up my Slash properly if I'm gonna use it as a backup car, because it wasn't anywhere near as fun. My track is soft loam, like old school dirt. It's not that hard packed crap where they treat it, or none of that glazed stuff. So it's old school, real dirt track. They water it, they groom it. And as far as that goes, for these tires, I don't think the tires are going to hold this back. These tires are great for that type of terrain. So I think any kind of loose dirt, these tires seem to work pretty darn good. They hook up. This thing is just stuck like glue. And so yeah, these tires are great. I'll probably just get more of these. Maybe I'll try out a little bit different ones, but yeah, no complaints with that. Out of the box, this thing pretty much rips. I think it just needs a little bit of shock tuning, a little bit of suspension tuning, and that's about it. And then next time I race it, I'm going to be more delicate, not slamming it into stuff. It was fun. Servo wasn't that bad. It's not the greatest, but for $25, not too bad. My radio link receiver worked fine. And then, of course, this Takeoff VXL worked fine. When these come, so they have a setup for a shorty battery where they put a little block there. So you could run a shorty battery up here. and reduce some weight and stuff. But I don't know. I don't have any, so that's just what I run. All right, so let's give it some ratings. I've got a rating system worked out. The first is gonna be looks category. Okay, so for looks, I mean, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. It's cool. It looks a little, it's not like old school stadium truck cool. It can look a little bit goofy at times, but other times it looks pretty neat. So I don't know. I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5 in the looks category. Next category, suspension. Bone stock. I would say, other than, I mean, the shocks are good. The arms are decent. Geometry is okay, besides that little bit of bum steer. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars for the suspension. And once I do some adjustments, maybe that'll bump up to a 5. The next is the motor category. Okay, so this was not a ready to run. So the motor is basically not applicable here. But if I were to rate this Traxxas Valenian, I would give it a 3 out of 5. I would never buy one by itself, but it's decent. And it didn't seem to, usually these like to run hot, and it didn't seem to get hot with the current gearing in there, which is a 13 tooth pinion. So I would give that a 3 out of 5. Now, it's basically, this is an NA, not applicable. Okay, so durability. For the durability category, since I broke it my second heat, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. Everything else looks pretty beefy, but there's a weak link and I found it. So hopefully I don't have that issue again. Maybe this was just a fluke. Something was loose in there. I don't know what happened, but because of that, and it ended my race day with this thing, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. And it's only a 3. It would be a 2, but it's only a 3 because the rest of the car is pretty tough. It appears tough. So, yeah, 3 out of 5 in the durability category. Now, the last category is going to be price/value. So the price and the value. I paid $235 for this car delivered to my door. That's including tax, aka no tax, but 230, I think it was $234.99 exactly to my door, shipped. So in the value category, this thing is a 5 out of 5. Phenomenal value, $230. Let's say you're like me and you had some of this stuff lying around. You got a motor and a speed control. You have a receiver. I mean, this receiver is a $15 receiver. The servo was $25. So I spent $40. And this, the motor and whatever, I wrote off. I bought that car like 4 or 5 years ago. So that price has been written off in my mind. So essentially, I spent $40 to get this car running. So I'm at $275, basically $280. The only thing you can really get at that, and you still have to pay tax, so you're in the wrong, but you could get a Traxxas Slash with the BL2S, and this is a far faster car. Now this Traxxas Slash has a lot of potential. I have one. It's a great car. This is like worlds above as far as performance, though. You have a lot more nicer stuff. You got the aluminum chassis, front, rear, and center differential. I mean, it's just got way more stuff in it. So as far as value goes, this is a home run. You can get the ready to run for $335. So $100 more. Let's say you don't have this stuff. $100 more, $335 shipped to your door. I don't know if I want to say who it is, because if you search around, you can find it. $334 to your door, or $235 for the R, the pirate version. I think it's a smoking deal. Nowhere else you're going to get a 4-wheel drive truck in this performance for this price range. Nowhere. I mean, if you look at the Techno 4-wheel drive truggy, or the what's the other one? X-Ray. So you either get, so in the 4-wheel drive truggy class, there's this, the X-Ray, and the Techno. Those are both $450, $550 with nothing. So this is a phenomenal deal, and I haven't seen one of those run, but I would bet that this is up there with those easily. And I think with RC cars, it's 80% driver, 20% car, kind of like a dirt bike. A good driver can smoke people with something that's really not that great, as long as they got the skills. But just from what I've seen, this should be able to hang with that stuff. This was hanging with Techno short course trucks, and I think those are phenomenal the way they handle. I mean, I've driven my neighbors, and it's freaking awesome. So this is up there with it. Zero traction roll issues, zero anything. I would say, yeah, 100%. This is a 5 out of 5 in the value category. If you've got $235 or $335 to spend on a brushless 4-wheel drive, this is it. You should get one, and we need to grow this class again. We need to have a big 4-wheel drive 10 scale truggy class. Get one, go run it, go race it. It's freaking awesome. I just remembered something I want to mention. It was pretty funny. So when I went and first set this thing down to practice with it, the hobby shop owner, who is also the announcer, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but I believe this is the exact words, "What the hell is that thing?" So, and I thought, I got a good laugh out of that. I thought it was pretty funny. What the hell is that? I said, what do you mean, what the hell is it? It's a 4-wheel drive truggy. I told him it was a Hobao, and I tried to get him to become a dealer, but I don't think he's that interested. We'll see. I think people are going to see this thing flying around the track, and they're going to want one. And then we're going to revive that class, and he's going to be wishing he was a dealer. Like 10 guys get this. I don't know. That might be just a fantasy.